All right, let me see. All right, Paul, Mitch, Judge Nelly. Hold on, I'm trying to bring the other ones in. They on now, so let me bring everybody in on a cube. All right, hold on. Judge Nelly, can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me okay?
All right, are you on your phone or your computer?
I'm on the computer.
All right, it wouldn't let you log on.
No, apparently the connection was made over the computer before the phone logged in.
All right, I'm trying to get somebody on. I'm trying to get them on. One in the room. Let me pull this room up. Did you click that link that I gave you? Hi, how's it going?
Hey, I'm Joyce.
All right, I'm trying to bring them on. Hold on.
There's a lot of echo.
Yeah, Judge Nelly having a problem with his computer. So hold on. All right, I got one more. Paul Nelly. Yes, seeing three people in the meeting, and we all.
Mr. Worthy, on your behalf, there's a lot of echoing. It's hard to
Can I hear you?
Let me log off, Bobby.
Judge Nelly, first link. Can you hear me now?
That's clearer.
Hold on, my phone ain't working right. Hold on, I got my computer don't pick up good. Let me.
Bobby, I think it's my.
All right, there you go. Can y'all hear me now?
Okay, Bobby, I can hear you.
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, I'm waiting on, I'm Joyce Stepp. I'm the assistant foreperson.
Okay.
Okay, for better lack of term, I guess we could use vice president. We are waiting. We are waiting for Miss Diana to join in.
Okay. I'm about to change headphones, y'all, because these ain't working. Hold on.
Bobby, I am going to have to mute and unmute my computer to keep down the audio background noise.
Yes, you have audio background noise, Mr. Nally. It's very difficult to hear you.
Hello?
Bobby, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, hold on. I got it in the wrong thing here. I got my heads on because my speaker on my computer ain't loud. How about now?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Mr. Nally sounds very muffled when he
Well,
speaks.
his computer is acting up. Judge Nelly, can you get on? Can you try to get on your phone?
Bobby, I'm going to disconnect from this computer feed and try to get on with my cell phone.
All right, go to the link that I sent you. All right, because your phone is echoing real bad. Yeah, I meant your computer. All right.
All right, he disconnected, Bobby. We're waiting to see if he can reconnect back in with his phone.
Well, I'm gonna introduce him when he get back on. That is Barnhill County's former judge, Paul Nelly. He is my VP, and when people say vice president, I like to say very important person. So it's finally all this talking, and we finally get a chance to see each other.
Each other face to face.
Hey, listen, and it's social distance.
And we're social distance.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful thing. So we can actually do this, you know.
It really, yes, it is.
And I actually upgraded last night on my computer. I upgraded to Pro version because the basic version, free version, just gave you minimum stuff. So I went ahead and just upgraded it, man. And I ain't even learned all the stuff it can do. It got where you can put backgrounds in it, man. I mean, the lady from a news lady called me in the conference, and then she was telling me about, you know, the different backgrounds, and you can just, I mean, it looked like you standing at the White House and all that. I mean, it's remarkable.
Technology's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is.
It just the people behind it that ain't, some of us.
I'm one of them. I was hoping I would get this part right anyway.
No, I ain't talking about that part. I'm talking about the part of doing wrong.
Yes, correct. I understand.
So,
Diana should be clicking in. I know I spoke with her earlier.
all right,
and-
that's Judge. Hold on a minute. That's Judge Natalie calling me. Hold on. Judge. Okay, so did you click on that other link? The link, this first link, it is not letting you in? Okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead and go back on it and I'm gonna let you in. Okay, bye. Hold on, I gotta bring Judge Nally in. He's having an issue getting on. Because we had a problem. We did a test run yesterday with his computer echoing like that. And we went live on a test run from his phone. So it was fine from his phone. So I sent him the link to log on from his phone. So let me say trying to bring him in. Let me bring him in as soon as he come on. And Paul. Judge, you there? Judge. Judge. Paul.
Okay, he's there now.
I see him say on, but he might be having a problem with his voice thing. I don't see him popped up yet. Judge. The vice chair machine.
I can see him. I don't know if he can hear us.
Yeah, you see him? I don't even see him. Hold on, let me find him.
Okay, Bobby,
there
Bobby,
you go. There you go. There he is. I see him.
Oh, you see me and you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Huh?
Like,
Hey,
you know,
you're looking kind of young there, fella.
yeah, well, you know, this technology is a wonderful thing when it works, but when you're dumb as dirt as I am.
Yeah, so you can hold your phone back, Judge, and we can still hear you. You ain't got to be so close. There you go. Ah, there you go. You look like you're a very important person now.
Okay. Thank you.
With his cup of coffee.
I know, right? I need to get, he done made me mad. I got to get me some.
Coffee cup.
Well, this is my downfall, my Coke Zeros.
Hey, listen, that's what I drink.
Coke Zero,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm bad.
Yeah, I'm addicted to diet sodas.
Caffeine.
Uh-huh.
We will get our caffeine somehow.
That's right.
Yeah. I love me some zero.
I'm not so sure where Diana is at.
I know, right? So
let me see if I can.
That's okay.
Yeah, you might want to call her. She ain't forgot, is she?
No, she didn't forget. Let me give her a call.
Okay.
This way, if she's having problems getting on, we can talk her through it.
Yeah, if she just click that link, it should bring her right in.
Yes.
Now,
okay, I'll put you on speaker, Diana, and maybe Bobby can talk us through it, how to get you on.
Just tell her the link that she got. Did you text it to her?
She's the one that sent it to me.
Huh?
He emailed it to me. So
okay. I don't want to send it to her, Diana. Yeah, okay. I got y'all mixed up. Just tell her I clicked the link to her phone. She can do it from her phone too.
Are you doing it from your phone or computer?
Yeah, and just go to the internet and just click that link. It'll bring her right in. There she go. There she go. Hold on, Judge.
We can't all talk. There you go.
All right, where you at?
We'll all be talking at the same time.
Okay, there we go.
Diana.
Okie dokie.
All right, she in. Can you see me?
I can see you. Can you see me?
No, hold on. I need to turn on your camera. Hold on. Your camera on?
I don't know.
I mean, if we can't get you on, we got your voice.
Okay.
That's good enough.
Okay, that works.
Bobby, when you come online with a cell phone, sometimes you have to click the screen, the black part of the screen.
Yes, I think she's on a computer.
I'm on a computer.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. You probably have to click your camera on if you want on. If not, we got your voice. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, let me introduce y'all first. Miss Diana. I thought Miss was. I thought she was you. Yeah. But anyway, this is former Judge Paul Nally, Bartow County. He is also the author of The Struggle, a document that I attached to the petition to the grand jury, explaining the law and the power that the citizens have to the grand jury. And what most grand jurors don't know is the power they have. The grand jury power supersedes that of any judge, any elected official, and even the governor themselves. And we people don't understand that. And this is why when I filed the petition for the grand jury, I included the document, The Struggle, that actually explains that to y'all, ladies. So with that said, y'all can ask any questions, and more than likely, if I can't answer them, Judge Paul Nally, which is my vice president. Now, I won't say VP, and people like to say vice president, but I say very important person, VIP. But he is he will in fact be the one to argue the point or present the evidence in front of the grand jury. I will be there, of course, for backup, but he more than likely can handle it himself. So with that said, ladies, y'all go ahead with your questions.
Well, I want to start first and foremost and apologize. Judge Nally, I apologize. You drove from Atlanta, and last minute I had to cancel that meeting. I was laid up in the bed with a neck and back injury and could not move. So I do apologize that you traveled all that way and for us not to be able to meet because of me being laid up. So I do apologize for that.
Young lady, no apology from a grand jury is even necessary.
Well, I felt that apology was definitely owed to you, and I appreciate your understanding.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm Diana Fisher, the foreman for the Glynn County, Georgia, term September 2020 through the end of February of 2021. And the reason for this meeting today is with regard to the referencing the enclosed documentations addressed to the foreman of the grand jury, and it was R. Daniel Williams. Now that was the prior grand jury foreman. However, my understanding, and this was dated July 13th. Did I say that 2020? However, it is our understanding that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that the grand jury did not reconvene until November of 2020. So I was presented this, as was Joyce, on December 8th, which was the last, or December 9th, the last date. It's dated December 8th. The last date we were there was, I believe it was the 9th. Is that correct, Joyce?
I would have to actually go back and look and see on my calendar, but I believe it sounds correct.
Right, because of the Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. And Joyce and I did meet and we discussed this, and there are a couple different questions I have. However, Bobby, you have answered that. And my first question was, what do you, Bobby Worthy, plan to present to prove probable cause? And when I say that, it is with regard to the petition that you had, what's the word? Help me, Paul.
Filed.
There we go.
Well, I'm gonna let Judge Nally answer that one, and then I will come back up with mine and answer that to be filed, because his name is actually on the petition as well.
Yes, that is correct.
Good evening, ladies. And first off, let me start by telling you, trying to impress upon you the honor that it is to be speaking to the two top officers of a grand jury. And I must explain that to you. The problems in the state of Georgia reach so deeply that judges and district attorneys around this state do not have a problem denying ordinary citizens such as Mr. Worthy and myself with our right to petition and be heard by a grand jury. The right of petition itself is not so much diminished or obstructed, I should say, as is the right to be heard. That is, without a doubt, an epidemic in our society. I must admit that I am somewhat surprised that you ladies were even given a copy of the petition. I just simply cannot imagine anyone in that district attorney's office acquiescing to allowing a petition from citizens to get into your hands.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Judge Nally, I have a question. I'm seeing up here it's saying live on Facebook.
I'm sorry.
I'm showing that this is recording live on Facebook. I have a problem with that.
I do see that on my screen as well.
Yes, it is on mine
That
too.
is unacceptable to me.
It just turned off.
Okay, now it just disappeared. I'm assuming Mr. Worthy has just
I didn't, my apologies, lady. I did not know it was on. I have my thing set up for another meeting and I just realized up in hand, but it's off now. So, and I will go on Facebook and delete it.
Okay.
I'll do that right now from my cell phone. Y'all go ahead and continue the questions.
Okay. All right. So let me get to the meat of the problem for you ladies. If you will recall, over the last several years, there's been a great deal of adverse publicity concerning your district attorney, who is, I understand, has lost her election. And it involved the death, or at least it involved two deaths. One was a young white lady that apparently was having some mental problems or drug problems. The other involved a young black gentleman that was running through a neighborhood. The problem that Mr. Worthy and I have with district attorneys is called prosecutorial discretion. Now, both of us, and I can say this unequivocally, both of us understand prosecutorial discretion and we do support it. However, it is a lot like our right to speak. We can say anything we want to, and we can say it about anybody. However, if what we say is a lie and it causes harm to the person we're talking about, then we have abused our liberty. And for that abuse, we can be held accountable. The same thing applies to prosecutorial discretion. And part of the problem is the fact that district attorneys, quite frankly, no longer understand the high office of grand jury. And they think that they can just for any reason, whether it be political intrigue or an actual lack of evidence, that they can just dismiss a criminal prosecution. That is not quite correct. In the state of Georgia, all citizens have a right to a determination of probable cause in any criminal matter. And in that regard, there is only one constitutional entity who has the ultimate authority for the determination of probable cause. That is your grand jury. So what that means is that although a district attorney might correctly believe that either no crime occurred, or if a crime did occur, there is not a sufficiency of supporting evidence, and that district attorney might want to discontinue prosecution of the case. Well, that's okay if that's his determination. The problem Mr. Worthy and I have is he or she is leaving you out of the process. Even if there is a lack of information, or maybe no crime was actually committed at all, he or she should still bring it to your attention, show you the evidence, explain to you what his assessment of that evidence is, and then ask you to not consider it, decline to consider it formally through a special presentment, or disagree with his assessment and either return a presentment or an indictment. Now, what you ladies should know is, and you, I hope, will relay this to your colleagues, your fellow judges. And by the way, now excuse me for jumping topics here, but I really would like to impress upon y'all that you are, for your term of office, you are judges. What your grand jury actually is under our Constitution is an Article I court of inquiry, and it is populated by 16 to 23 judges of the law. So you are, and don't ever let anybody degrade what you actually are. You are the top judges. The reason you are the top judges in this state is because our Constitution gives you as a grand juror and a criminal trial jury both the authority to judge not just the facts in a case, but you also judge the law in any case that comes before you. The grand jury, however, is uniquely different, because not only do you judge the law in a criminal matter, but you have the authority to judge any law that may have an adverse effect upon your neighbors in your county. One example of that, and I do not want to get into politics, but this is a prime example. The Affordable Health Care Act, when it was passed by the United States Congress and signed by the President, violated the Constitution of the United States because there was a provision in there that ordered the IRS to order employers to withhold X amount of dollars from a employee's paycheck if that employee did not want insurance. That violated the taking clause of the United States Constitution. The effect, the legal effect in your county was that the United States Congress was ordering your employers who had employees who did not want to take insurance, already had all the insurance they needed, or may have decided they didn't want insurance at all. It didn't matter. Your employers were ordered under penalty of federal law to take money from their paychecks and send it to Washington to be used for another purpose. Now, you can look at the takings clause and easily understand that was an act of theft under Georgia law. Not only was it an act of theft under Georgia law, it was an act of theft under federal law. And the problem still exists today because even though Congress about 5 years ago repealed that statute, that part of that statute, they have never returned the money they illegally took. So it's entirely possible, and if you ladies would like for me to address your grand jury on this issue, I'll be more than happy to do so. Although this was not an issue that we raised in our petition to you, but I will show them as a matter of law how the federal government actually became a thief in Glynn County. And not only that, but because the United States Congress has given you as judges, clothed with the power of a magistrate, you will have the authority to order the United States Internal Revenue Service to return all of those monies to all of your citizens from whom that money was taken. Now, that gives you, I hope that gives you some idea of the magnitude of the power of just one grand jury in the state of Georgia. Now, jumping back to the reason for our petition to you is this. You have in I think it was, the lady's name was Small, Miss Small. She was shot to death in her car by two law enforcement officers. And as I understand it, those officers were not prosecuted for any count of murder, voluntary manslaughter, or involuntary manslaughter. That was a gross and a criminal abuse of prosecutorial discretion. And it constitutes a violation of the oath of office of your district attorney. Now, under 16-10-1, a violation of an oath of office, if found guilty, is punishable by fine and imprisonment for up to 5 years. It occurred to Mr. Worthy and myself that if one or more district attorneys were held criminally liable for the abuses of their office, then that would serve as a clarion call to every other district attorney in this state, and I might add, federal attorneys, not to play so fast and loose with the rights of citizens. Now, in coming on forward into the Mr. Arbery case, there are two district attorneys involved, and again, yours being one of them, but you also need to be looking at Mr. George Barnhill up in Waycross, because he was assigned a case when he knew.
Judge, hold on. I think they had something to say, one of them. Y'all had something to say a while ago?
Sorry. Yes, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. We are in Glynn County, and
Yes.
District Attorney George Barnhill is Waycross. So that would
Yes.
need to be heard there, not here. And
Okay.
we are Glenn County only.
Okay,
Okay.
Judge, let me
So that
address
is a
them.
separate,
Let
that
me,
is separate
okay,
case, separate situation, separate county.
okay, all right. Let me address that, Judge. All right. On that situation, it became one element, one case, because Jackie Johnson took this case and turned it over to George Barnhill, which for fact should have never been turned over to George Barnhill, because George Barnhill Jr. works as assistant district attorney in her office. Then George Barnhill himself made a decision to in the case, because he emailed me and I emailed him and said that he never made any opinion about the case. But then shortly after he sent me that email, and I can email you the email he sent me, stating that he never made that decision, but he put out a letter stating that they were justified. I mean, Michaels was justified in using deadly force to kill Ahmaud Arbery. Thus, he became a party to this case. And a grand jury, as Judge Nelly didn't explain, is not confined to Dare County. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's the district attorney in Ware County still does not mean the criminal, he cannot be charged by the grand jury in Glynn County. So I just want to get that out the way, and you can continue, Judge.
Thank you. Now, raising the concern about Glynn County looking at a district attorney in Waycross, ordinarily you would not have that concern because you would not have jurisdiction in Ware County. However, this is different because once Ms. Johnson transferred the case to Ware County's district attorney, he became involved in a criminal matter in Glynn County. And there again, his letter was a criminal abuse of discretion. And in that criminal abuse of discretion, it is our argument that he violated his oath of office. Now, the reason we're so focused on the violation of an oath of office is because all public officials, and this includes grand jurors, have in our Constitution what is called a paramount duty. So that one duty, by being designated by our Constitution as paramount, means that no other duty comes ahead of that. And that duty is simply this: the protection to the person and the property of the citizens of this state. That's Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 2. That commandment of our Constitution is one of the additional statutory elements that gives y'all the authority to look at what Congress did by taking money away from your hourly employees and sending an order from the Glynn County Grand Jury to the United States Internal Revenue Service, instructing them to return monies illegally taken. Because the crime was committed in your county. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand there is a reluctance for you to give the appearance that you're sticking your nose in another county's business. However, you should not worry about that, because a grand jury, such as yourself, can look at the evidence, and if your grand jury says, yes, George Barnhill criminally abused his prosecutorial discretion and we want to indict him, there are two options available to you as a court. Number one, you can issue a special presentment as to George Barnhill's involvement and forward that special presentment to the Ware County Grand Jury, requesting them to conduct their own investigation in the matter. You have that authority. Or you can issue your indictment, and once it is signed, then you will forward that indictment to whoever is the district attorney in, I'm sorry, not the district attorney. You will forward it to the judge of the chief judge of the Superior Court in Ware County, and they can deal with it from there. So, oh, and there is a third thing you can do. Now, you could, yeah, thank you. I'm sorry, better half just interrupted me. The third thing you can do is to issue a critical special presentment and order the governor of the state to remove that district attorney from office. And that's assuming you find the evidence sufficient for y'all to make that kind of a decision. And by the way, that last option, there is case law on that in a case called Cook v. Sykes that happened up in Liberty County back in 1953. Now, that grand jury ordered the governor to get rid of the sheriff in that county. And, of course, the governor didn't like losing one of his fingers in the pie of the public, but he did it anyway.
Excuse me, Judge. Go ahead and make sure you repeat that case clearly for them to hear it.
It's on the, Mr. Worthy, it's on page 3.
Okay.
And it's cited right there. Petition.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is in there. And I forgot.
Right there.
And excuse me for cutting you off, but I will, when I'm done with this case, I will send you an email so you and you, the only one, will have a actual recording of this.
Now, let me also inform you now that since we're talking about your procedures, something you need to know first off about grand jury procedures, and that is you do not find all of the procedures in the Georgia Code that can apply to a grand jury, number one. Number two, any duty, anytime the legislature says the grand jury shall, you do not read that statute as grand jury shall. You read it as if the legislature is saying the grand jury has the authority to, and then do whatever. The reason for that is because the Constitution of this state is absolutely explicit. The legislature of this state may not enact any law concerning the practice and procedure of a grand jury. The only thing that they have the authority to do is provide for, one, your selection, and two, your compensation. That's it. They can do nothing else. So another thing you could do is you could call, send a subpoena to Mr. Barnhill to come down to your court, to your grand jury room, and you could tell him, inform him that you have reviewed the evidence in the case of Mr. Arbery, and you find that the grand jury finds that he has been criminally negligent, that he's violated his oath of office, and you are going to give him an opportunity to resign his office. And if he fails to do that, then the grand jury will be inclined to return an indictment against him and forward it up to the chief judge of the Waycross circuit.
Right.
So
Judge,
a grand jury, excuse me.
let me cut you off a little bit. We're going to rush it on. We got for time. And You know,
Okay.
we got time limits
So
on
let
these
me-
meetings, so let them finish their questions. Try to make it
Okay,
short
sure.
and brief.
I'm sorry.
Then let them switch their questions and be short and brief,
Okay.
and then we can explain it is because I don't want to tie these
Okay.
ladies up all day.
Thank you. Mr. Worthy, did you request the open records from the Attorney General's office?
Yes, I did. I did send it off the day after you told me about it. I did.
And what
send
were
it off,
those
yeah.
results?
Well, I haven't sent it yet. I've sent it, but I haven't heard anything. You know, they got 3 days, so I sent it through by email.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and I sent it to the GBI as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just making a note.
Yeah, and when I like I said, and I want to apologize to y'all real quick for that. I had a previous meeting set up and that just popped up, but I deleted it off Facebook too, so it's gone.
No,
I went in my
appreciate
cell
that. Thank
phone.
you.
I went in my cell phone and took it off. So.
Yes, and because, you know, I mean, even so, this is, at this time, this is not public.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that if at some point it, you know, of course, all the findings or whatever will be, but this is not that forum.
Yeah.
One other thing, do you intend to have individuals come to speak? If so, who?
Definitely we got a gentleman, judges, Mr. Howard coming around, or is he gonna come?
No, Mr. Howard didn't, but there is a former grand jury foreman down in your neck of the woods that I would like to have subpoenaed, and that's Mr. Terry Mack.
Did you get that?
Mr. Mack, now I've not talked to him about this, but he had a rather unfortunate experience with that district attorney's office.
Yes, I remember that.
On another matter, and they were treated most discourteously.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm
right.
being polite.
Yeah, he was. Well, let me explain something to you about what happened to Mac. Mr. Mack was, and even myself. And let me tell you how Jackie Johnson office worked. I got a call when the Ahmaud, when the Zachariah Presley case was going on. The GBI called me, said the district attorney of Glynn County called him and told him to investigate me for a protest, a march, which is my legal right to participate. And that was her assistant to Jackie Johnson, whatever his name, what was his name, Judge? Rocky?
I don't remember his last name. It's Rocky something.
Yeah, and he sent. So when I told the GBI, I said, first of all, is it not my legal right to protest on any public property I need to protest? He said, yes. I said, then I didn't say it in such a pretty way because I was mad. I said, well, you tell a district attorney, you know what they can do to me, because you could do for me, because you're not going to keep doing what you want to do in this situation, because I'm standing up for my rights. So if you didn't see nothing I did wrong, why are you calling me? So this is the kind of situation that we're dealing with Jackie. With Jackie Johnson, the numerous cases that you can go on with her, and between the two district attorneys. Same thing, George Barnhill. I had undisputed proof that I brought to George Barnhill in the case that the Ware County juvenile courts and the Ware County defects office falsified documents and took a lady's child. They said that her and her child in the Jennifer Probe case tested positive for methamphetamine. And when we went to and got the medical records state neither her and her son tested positive for drugs, but they used that to take her, the defect took her child. And we took this to George Barnhill, and the only thing George Barnhill was concerned was not to investigate this, but to have me locked up for unlawful practice of law, until I told him, first of all, your power as the district attorney doesn't have that. The Georgia State Bar has ruled the power, the Georgia Supreme Court ruled that the power to practice the unpunished for unlawful practice law is the Georgia State Bar. You're not the Georgia State Bar, so try another one. So this is the things that we dealing with these two, and now we have a murder that has been, I mean, legally, I mean, just covered up completely. But of course, they have indicted them and all that. But you know, I just wanted to get that out. But y'all go ahead with your questions. I want to make this. I don't want to keep y'all all day.
Well, you said the one person was former grand jury Terry Mack. Okay,
Yes.
because I was also going to ask what the relationship is and why. Would there be anyone else other than yourself? And you did early on mention Judge Nally.
Judge Nally, and it would be what is her name? I cannot think of her name right now, but Brooks. Her last name is Brooks.
And
Thea,
what is her relationship?
Her relationship is she is kin to Ahmaud Arbery. She is the cousin of first cousin of Ahmaud Arbery, and she has a remarkable story that she told with documents. There's another guy that I know that actually got the documents, but I got to try to reach out to him in Facebook. I haven't heard from him in a while, and I can't remember his name, but I do remember the email he sent me, and I have to look it up. And I will forward you y'all a copy of the email that George Barnhill sent me when I questioned him, why did he rule in this case? And he said he didn't rule in this case. He never made an opinion in this case. And then a week or so later, that's when the letter came out that he said that they was justified for the killing.
Okay. Joyce, do you have anything to say before I move forward with the closing remark here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just wanted to know, how many witnesses you were looking at. Because understand the more witnesses that are there, that there's going to have to be time restrictions in place. 15
excuse me.
Go ahead, sir.
May I interject something here?
I'm having a hard time hearing. Go ahead.
Something else y'all should know about the power of a grand jury. The Supreme Court of the state of Georgia sent out an order that effectively shut down the courts some months ago. And I would really appreciate if y'all would take note of the fact that you do not take your instructions from the Supreme Court of the state of Georgia, nor do you take or abide any interference in your duties by a Superior Court judge in your county. You are an independent tribunal. Your authority arises under Article 1 of the Georgia Constitution. All other courts in this state derive their jurisdiction from Article 6. So if you believe that the COVID scare is sufficiently real enough, then it is up to the foreman and the grand jurors to discuss that matter and decide how best they will proceed.
Okay,
But
Judge.
it is imperative that you understand you don't take orders from the Supreme Court of the state of Georgia. Thank you, ma'am, and I appreciate the time.
Yeah, and I apologize that I don't recall the judge that was there when we were sworn in. Joyce, you may, but he did more than once state that how do I want to say this? What you were saying, yes, he did say that the grand jury is the ones with the power, even over his particular office, etc.
Well,
so with closing, okay, when the grand jury reconvenes, I will be meeting with the district attorney incoming District Attorney Keith Higgins to gain instruction on moving forward with the steps to have you present, and I say you, Mr. Worthy, and to the grand jury. At this time, we can discuss, you know, who else. You did say Terry Mack. I don't know how that necessarily has anything to do with this particular case. Judge Nally, because of your information, I'm not opposed to that. And Miss Brooks, I believe, as she is a blood relative or relative, I believe that she would also be given her time to speak to the people.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies. God bless you.
All right, and with it, before we close, I want to say that I it's an honor for y'all to even do this. I mean, really, because it's people just don't know their rights, even the grand juries, and what you're gonna run in with. And I don't think you're running this with Keith, because I know Keith Higgins. He seems to be a respectable, honorable man. But we'll see when he get in office. But most district attorneys will tell you, well, you can't do this, you can't do this. So, and I'm gonna leave this at that. Your power is so great as a grand juror that you have the right to tell the district attorney, shut up, get out. We have this. You have a right to investigate. You have a right to hire your own investigator and investigate the investigators, if you know what I mean. You have a right to investigate any office, not even the district attorney. You have a right to investigate the judge. You have a right to tell the judge, I need you to stand down. We got this, or we will remove you. That is the power of the grand jury. And this is why I sent you the document of the struggle, which is a very powerful document. I have a book that's coming out that will